Hello, everyone. I'm Anya Aganisyan, and I'm leading the international project Generation Startup Corporate Accelerator. Generation S is corporate innovation development platform, which is trusted by more than 17,000 startups, 70 corporations, and more than 250 innovation ecosystem players. We launched this series of tech talks focused on Russian technology landscape, and particularly we focused on quantum technologies, blockchain, and artificial intelligence. Today we're going to discuss artificial intelligence in medicine, but before we start, I would like to introduce you our official sponsor of this series of events, Sequence Ventures, and Mohamed Fahmy, Executive Chairman of Sequence Ventures. Hi, Mohamed, please switch on your mic.
Hi, Annie. Thank you very much for the introduction. It's a great pleasure to be with you during this very interesting journey. I'm talking to you from Cairo. Okay, actually, we are a venture capital company based in Egypt, and also we have our main office in Amsterdam, Netherlands. We are specialized in investing in deep tech, and one of major market that we are invested in is the Russia market, because according to our study for the last 2 years, that Russian market is the most emerging markets in terms of startups ecosystem and deep tech or transformational technology area. We are happy, okay, to join and sponsor such very important events, okay, and we are talking about the deep tech, and we are very interested to do our researches and development and also our investment in this area in Russia and other countries in Europe. For today, we didn't or we don't start yet our deploying our fund. We will start from the next year, but for the time being, we are enjoying sponsoring such very inspiring and advanced technology talks. So I'm welcoming everyone joining us today, and hopefully to do this event physically in Egypt or Netherlands very soon. Looking forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mohamed. Thank you for this explanation and this introduction of Sequence Ventures. I think that you will find definitely very good technologies in Russia regarding deep tech especially. So thanks a lot.
I believe so.
Yeah. As mentioned, our today's topic is about artificial intelligence, and actually we decided to focus on artificial intelligence in medicine and health tech, and for this we invited Mr. Alexey Fomin. Alexey, please join me.
Good evening, my pleasure. Thank you, Annie.
Thank you, Alexey. First of all, thank you for joining us today. Could you please also make an introduction of you and Botkin.AI?
Sure. So my name is Alexey Fomin, obviously. I'm head of business development at Botkin.AI company, and overall, Botkin.AI company is the author and developer of software-based platform for different types of medical images analysis with the help of artificial intelligence technologies. So currently we operate in Russia and outbound as well. We are concentrating on radiological studies in order to solve main issues in the sphere and help patients and doctors on an everyday basis.
Thank you, Alexey. Sure, artificial intelligence in medicine and healthcare has been a particularly hot topic, I would say, recent years and especially now. So we see a great potential for the application of AI in medicine. And thank you for setting up for a number of topics we should discuss today. So we have 4 main issues to discuss. It's key prerequisites for AI usage in medicine. It's AI usage in radiology, main obstacles and problems for AI companies, and applied use cases of AI in radiology. So to start with, just a very simple question to begin with. Alexey, what we talk about when we talk about AI in medicine?
We first of all talk about the decision supportive systems because currently the sphere of medicine and radiology, of course, is not an exception of facing the issue which is related to the fact that data which is needed to be analyzed grows tremendously fast. And if you compare the growth of data in comparison to the growth of the specialists who are capable of analyzing them, it's several times faster. So definitely radiological sphere and overall the sphere of medicine.
I'm Anya Agnisyan, and I'm leading international project Generation Startup Corporate Accelerator. Generation S is corporate innovation development platform, which is trusted by more than 17,000 startups, 70 corporations, and more than 250 innovation ecosystem players. We launched this series of tech talks focused on Russian technology landscape, and particularly we focused on quantum technologies, blockchain, and artificial intelligence. Today we're going to discuss artificial intelligence in medicine, but before we start, I would like to introduce you our official sponsor of this series of events, Sequence Ventures, and Mohamed Fahmy, Executive Chairman of Sequence Ventures. Hi, Mohamed, please switch on your mic.
Hi, Annie. Thank you very much for the introduction. It's a great pleasure to be with you during this very interesting journey. I'm talking to you from Cairo. Okay, actually, we are a venture capital company based in Egypt, and also we have our main office in Amsterdam, Netherlands. We are specialized in investing in deep tech, and one of the major market that we are invested in is the Russia market, because according to our study for the last 2 years, that Russian market is the most emerging markets in terms of startups ecosystem and deep tech or transformational technology area. We are happy, to join and sponsor such very important events, and we are talking about the deep tech, and we are very interested to do our researches and development and also our investment in this area in Russia and other countries in Europe. For today, we didn't or we don't start yet our deploying our fund. We will start from the next year, but for the time being, we are enjoying sponsoring such very inspiring and advanced technology talks. So I'm welcoming everyone joining us today, and hopefully to do this event physically in Egypt or Netherlands very soon. Looking forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mohamed. Thank you for this explanation and this introduction of Sequence Ventures. I think that you will find definitely very good technologies in Russia regarding deep tech especially. So thanks a lot.
I believe so.
Yeah. As mentioned, our today's topic is about artificial intelligence, and actually we decided to focus on artificial intelligence in medicine and health tech, and for this we invited Mr. Alexey Fomin. Alexey, please join me.
Good evening, my pleasure. Thank you, Annie.
Thank you, Alexey. First of all, thank you for joining us today. Could you please also make an introduction of you and Botkin.AI?
Sure. So my name is Alexey Fomin, obviously. I'm head of business development at Botkin.AI company, and overall, Botkin.AI company is the author and developer of software-based platform for different types of medical images analysis with the help of artificial intelligence technologies. So currently we operate in Russia and outbound as well. We are concentrating on radiological studies in order to solve main issues in the sphere, and help patients and doctors on an everyday basis.
Thank you, Alexey. Sure, artificial intelligence in medicine and healthcare has been a particularly hot topic, I would say, recent years and especially now. So we see a great potential for the application of AI in medicine. And thank you for setting up for a number of topics we should discuss today. Just a very simple question to begin with. Alexey, what we talk about when we talk about AI in medicine?
We first of all talk about the decision supportive systems, because currently the sphere of medicine and radiology, of course, is not an exception of facing the issue which is related to the fact that data which is needed to be analyzed grows tremendously fast. And if you compare the growth of data in comparison to the growth of the specialists who are capable of analyzing them, it's several times faster. So definitely radiological sphere and overall the sphere of medicine needs the decision supportive systems, and that is why artificial intelligence is the thing which is claimed to support and help radiologists and other medical specialists to provide the diagnostics on time and with the appropriate level of quality. Another thing which is also important is the fact that a lot of other remote regions need the on-time and quality diagnostics. Once again, artificial intelligence is the thing which helps them on an everyday basis and helps patients to be diagnosed on time and with a proper level of quality.
Okay. And if we, for example, if we set up top 5 or top 10 current trends in medical AI, what it would be?
Definitely, I would say that this is the decision supportive system based on cloud-based things. So, because if we're talking about artificial intelligence, you have to be sure that it's affordable and available. So not a lot of medical institutions can afford to buy high-priced and high-valued hardware. So if you provide the things which are available online from any part of the world, the only thing is required is basically internet connection, stable but still nothing else. This is the AI software as a service solutions, I would say. And if we're talking about other trends, we'll definitely talk about the decision supportive things which are related to radiological studies, such as X-rays, CTs, and so on. These are the most current trends when it comes to radiology and artificial intelligence.
Regarding other prerequisites for AI usage, what would you mention?
I would say that, first of all, just taking the radiological sphere, which is more familiar to me and our company overall, to prepare the qualified radiologist, you have to spend at least 10 years. So he or she gets enough experience, gets enough knowledge, and gets enough applied experience when it comes to operating in different types of medical institutions. And currently, most of countries don't have such time, because if you compare the, for example, growth of qualified specialists in UK in comparison to the growth of different types of radiological studies, it's 4 times bigger. So radiologists and other medical providers and producers need help already now. And, this is the thing where they require help from artificial intelligence and overall high technologies. This is the first thing. Second thing is the fact that, for example, in Russia, there are a lot of regions where governmental healthcare authorities of these regions buy a lot of radiological equipment, and it's not efficiently being used because of the shortage of radiologists, because of sometimes the radiological equipment is not that available to a lot of different types of patients who just can't reach them on time. Third one is, of course, COVID-19. I think we'll talk about it a little bit more afterwards, but still, currently, if you take, for example, the situation with mammography studies and mammologists, their things related to women visits to them. Because of the pandemic situation, women have to postpone at least their visits to mammologists. That's why some things which are related to different types of pathologies, including, for example, breast cancer, cannot be found on time. And currently, you have the ability to make the mammography study and afterwards send it to radiologists who will use the artificial intelligence to see whether there are some things which are of a particular doubt, or there is something conditionally different to the normal one. So you have the ability to get it on time and to get the quality treatment on time, which is even more important.
Okay. And in this case, talking about artificial intelligence and human intelligence, is AI replacing doctors?
No, definitely not. Because if you are talking about artificial intelligence overall, it's the product which is being developed by human in any case. And we at Botkin.AI, meaning we are definitely absolutely sure and confident of the fact that only the simultaneous work of artificial intelligence and radiologists will bring us to the 100% result. So definitely artificial intelligence is not the tool to replace radiologists currently. It's the decision supportive system. It's the second opinion. It's something which supports the qualified specialist. But definitely, there is no way that artificial intelligence can replace, for example, a doctor in radiology because of the experience and because of the fact that artificial intelligence can find something with a more probability in comparison to radiologists, especially if we're talking about radiologists, at 5 really hard hours of work. But to define what was found, whether it's pathology related to oncology or other diseases, always the experienced specialist would be more efficient in this case. So overall, if you compare the how it's called sensitivity and specificity, sensitivity is the thing which is related to finding something which is different to the normal one, and specificity is defining what is it really about. So the sensitivity of artificial intelligence technologies when it comes to our particular case is always higher in comparison to the average radiologists and even to the skilled ones. But if you take the specificity, the radiologist would be more efficient. So only the hybrid approach and when radiologist is working together with artificial intelligence technology and together with, for example, Botkin.AI platform, would bring the highest result and the quality treatment to the patient afterwards.
Okay, got you. So talking about current situation, I should ask the question that actually bothers everyone. So, what has been changed recently during to COVID in this application of AI in medicine, in healthcare? So,
Sure. What I've mentioned before, that the amount of studies increases dramatically from year to year. If you take the COVID-19 situation, the situation becomes even more severe because of the fact, for example, in Moscow, Russia, just in the 3 first months of COVID-19 pandemic, the number of city studies equals the number of the city studies of the whole previous year. So the data increases dramatically while the number of doctors who are capable of analyzing them stays the same in this short period of time. So their workload increases dramatically. That is why the risk of missed pathologies increases dramatically. And also everything which is related to COVID-19 studies would have to be analyzed in a short period of time. And afterwards, they would have to decide what is the right treatment approach towards this or that patient. Should this patient go to the hospital and this artificial ventilation of lungs, or should this patient go back to home and receive quality treatment there? Because you definitely know that there is a great lack of just places in hospitals for different types of patients. And we're talking about European countries such as Russia, such as European Union, such as Ukraine, for example. I see the respected colleague from Ukraine as well. But if we're talking about other countries, for example, Philippines, because of their just the geographical position, because Philippines is a bunch of different islands. They don't have, this equalized access towards this diagnostics. So once again, the decision supportive system and overall the support of radiologists is inevitable thing when it comes to AI and when it comes to COVID-19 situation. So the overall data becomes, increasingly fastly grows. The attention of radiologists decreases because of just, the inevitable growth of their workload. So we are the ones to help them. We are the ones to help both radiologists on one hand and patients getting quality treatment on another.
Okay. Yes, got you. The point is very clear. So particularly AI is helping doctors to take right decisions regarding patients, as I understand.
Absolutely
But
right.
yeah, but currently we have an issue. Actually, as you know, artificial intelligence now is very popular, so it's very hype subject. And yes, and many companies often claim that they have artificial intelligence within their solutions. And I think that so sometimes we don't understand what is really an artificial intelligence and how we can distinguish real AI solutions from the other ones. So could you comment on this as well?
Sure. You're absolutely right, because artificial intelligence is a topic and the term of a great hype currently. And a lot of companies want to, build their marketing strategies and pre-sales based on this hype term. And when it comes to overall distinguishing and difference between artificial intelligence and, for example, simple algorithms, it's as follows. If you take the simple mathematical algorithm, it works like this. If something happens, so this is the reaction. So it's just, the simple consequence of this or that event. If something happens, the machine or algorithm reacts in one of the two ways. If you take the neural networks, it's the thing which learns by itself, the first thing. Second thing, it can learn in a different way. So you can relearn and add more knowledge to the artificial intelligence. There is no way that you can relearn the algorithm. You have to create it from the scratch, from the very beginning. The artificial intelligence is the black box which makes the solutions because of the learning patterns that it has created during the database learning process. So for example, if we show the artificial intelligence and neural networks hundreds of thousands of images of dogs, after a certain period, if the artificial intelligence sees the image of dog, it will say that it's a dog. But also you can add some different features, that it's a dog with a certain color within a certain, I don't know, geographical region from the origin of this dog is, and so on. But it's also a very sensitive topic when it comes to learning process of artificial intelligence. So if you take a child and tell him or her that a dog is really a cat, after a certain period of time, the child would consider that the dog is really a cat, and vice versa. The same story when it comes to neural networks. So it's really a sensitive topic when it comes to learning process. And this is a sensitive topic when it comes to responsibility of companies which create the products for medicine in terms of artificial intelligence technologies, because they would have to understand that no matter whether artificial intelligence is being used before or after the analysis implemented by human, it influences the final decision. So they are really responsible for the quality of the decision supportive system they offer to radiologists. But unfortunately, as I've mentioned before, there is a great approach when it comes to startup companies. It's called fake it till you make it. And a lot of companies, first of all, sell something related to artificial intelligence technologies, and they, raise investment rounds, they make the pre-sales, they build on marketing campaigns, and afterwards they get first clients. Only then they start thinking about what they are really going to offer. And for example, this is the opposite situation when it comes to Botkin.AI. The company was created in 2015, and we spent almost 3.5 years for creation of our first product. But when we've introduced it to the market, we are absolutely confident that really it adds value, and not just using the hype tags and so on.
Okay, thank you. So before we start discussing applied usage of AE in radiology and especially the use cases that you have, I would like also, as you mentioned, the obstacles. I would like you to highlight key obstacles actually and problems for AE usage in medicine, in healthcare, and where you see potential solutions.
Sure. The first obstacle I have already mentioned a bit in the previous answer when it comes to responsibility. And, unfortunately, sometimes such a sensitive sphere as medicine is, if our respected radiologists and overall doctors are getting acquainted with the system, which is more hype than a supportive tool, more marketing than a tool which helps them on an everyday basis, they become really, frightened of this particular decision. So they are really sensitive in adding something to their everyday basis workflow. So if they have faced something which is not quality enough, which is not a real thing with applied usage in different real world situation, they would think about overall the sphere of artificial intelligence about something which is not really on time, which is not really of a help at this period of time. So we would have to break through this, let's put it this way, sensitive approach towards artificial intelligence. This is the first thing which definitely a lot of artificial intelligence companies face in a lot of countries. Second thing, and of course, everything which is related to legal basis. Because if you take, for example, Russian situation currently, only this year, with the support of governmental authorities, something related to the legal side of artificial intelligence became developing. Before that, there was nothing related to the laws of the country. So it was like, some kind of a gray zone when it comes to artificial intelligence. Currently, for example, once again, Botkin.AI is the first one in Russia to obtain the certificate of medical device. So absolutely on a legal basis, we can be applied in each and every medical institution in Russia, and I think CIS countries as well, which basically consider the certificate of medical device which is applied to their particular country. Third one is, of course, the scalability of the system, because the main issue with which a lot of companies face is the fact that if they test the system inside their own laboratories or inside their own data sets, there is a amazingly great difference in comparison to these results and those results which their product shows in the real world. So if you take your solution and go to the medical institution or wherever sphere you take, talking about artificial intelligence, and your product shows the same results in, I don't know, unfamiliar clinic, unfamiliar data, unfamiliar bunch of patients and so on, in comparison to those results which were shown in their inner environment, this is only the moment when you can offer your product. And unfortunately, a lot of just plenty of companies do it like this. They test it on the database on which this system was trained, and afterwards they start selling. And everyone gets really surprised when the applied technology is being used on an everyday basis in medical institutions, and it turns out that adds no value because the data set is totally different. The conditions are totally different. Something which is related to IT settings of medical devices are totally different. You have to quickly adjust, and all this thing, adjustment, continuous development, continuous learning of artificial intelligence only comes with the experience. So once again, the approach of both parties, of companies which offer their products and medical colleagues who we would like to be, how can I say, open towards new technologies, quality new technologies. The hodgepodge of these things will bring result. Sure. Adding to the 3 points that I've mentioned before, legal issues, confidentiality of medical colleagues, and adding really quality products to the market, we also have to think about diversification and internalization of the products. Diversification meaning that, for example, if you take the Russian market, it's more than 90% governmental, Russian medical market, of course. So the most widespread client is regional governmental healthcare authorities. But you cannot just partner and sell only to one group of clients. You would also have to go to, for example, private hospitals. And there you can, and you have to find the unique approach, because you help to solve different issues and to meet different KPIs when it comes to different customers. So if we're talking about Russian governmental healthcare authorities, we help them achieving KPIs in the governmental healthcare programs, which are established by the president, by governmental healthcare authorities, and so on. If we're talking about private medical institutions, they are not that interested in the governmental public healthcare programs, but they're interested in increasing the quality of the radiological diagnostics. They are interested in reducing costs. They're interested in increasing time and becoming more and more efficient when it comes to radiological departments. So you have to find your personal approach towards your customer, and we have successfully done it. If you take other clients, such as, for example, insurance companies, for us as well, they have other KPIs. So you have to quickly adjust and be flexible when it comes to solving the issues and helping your potential customers finding and reaching the KPIs that they are aiming on. When it comes to internationalization, sorry. Unfortunately, when it comes to our case, we sometimes face the issues related to the fact that we are the Russian company. And the approach when it comes to a Russian company and a Russian IT company is different. But we have mentioned the fact that if you have the ability to establish at least the pilot project, so at least sometimes even for free, just showing the added value to the potential customer, afterwards you have the ability to bring long-lasting and fruitful partnership with them. That's why we are already represented in Latin America, in Middle East, and Southeast Asia, and we currently are in negotiation process of being represented in European Union as well. So scaling up overall is a totally different story, because the approach is totally different and the goals are totally different. And of course, if you take, for example, patients from Russia and from Brazil, there are some peculiarities that you have to mention and quickly adjust. So scaling up, especially if we're talking about international scaling up, is the issue. You have to make the marketing research regarding the problems and issues this or that country faces, and you have to meet their requirements. You have to meet their expectations. This is the thing I would also say, which is quite important, and you have to mention this when it comes to your international development.
Yeah, thank you. So talking a little bit more about your use cases, of Botkin.AI. Besides, as I understand, you have governmental healthcare agencies as main clients. So could you please explore, if you can, a little bit more about the projects you are realizing with them?
Sure. I would say I would give just several examples of application of our platform in Russia and in outbound. The currently there is a biggest project of application of artificial intelligence technologies in medicine, which is led by Moscow Governmental Healthcare Authority. There we are the only ones currently who analyzes the CT studies in terms of finding lung cancer. We analyze approximately 2,000 studies per day, which is an amazingly big amount, and more than 20,000 per month. This is just, the application. Afterwards, this project will turn to commercial usage on an everyday basis. Other thing is related to international projects, as I've mentioned before, in Latin America, Middle East, and so on. If we come back to the beginning of our discussion, we'll definitely memorize the thing which is related to amazingly big amount of CT studies which are being implemented during the COVID-19 situation. We are retrospectively analyzing them in order to find additionally things which are related to lung cancer. Because, for example, if you take the current situation all over the world, if the situation is the following, the CT scan is being done in order to be sure that this or that patient has COVID-19. Other pathologies, including lung cancer, can be missed. And we are the ones to help radiologists simultaneously, first of all, find something related to COVID-19, but also not to miss lung cancer. This is a very hot topic currently, and that's why we have projects in Latin America, we have projects in Southeast Asia, and so on. Because once again, the amount of data is extremely high, and there is just nobody to retrospectively analyze all of these CT studies in order to find other pathologies, including lung cancer. And overall, if we're talking about oncology, the main issue in the world is the fact that oncology is being found on third or fourth stage, where it's extremely expensive and extremely hard to give the quality treatment to the patient and to hope for the well-being of him or her afterwards. So we help them to find oncology in the early stage, the first or second. We have plenty of different approaches to make them healthy within a certain period of time. This is the international approach. As I've mentioned before, we also pay a lot of attention to the certification. That's why we have the certificate of medical device in Russia, and we also plan to obtain CE mark by the end of this year, because we have, just finalizing procedures there. And we also pay a lot of attention to research and development. We have a lot of scientific articles when it comes to sensitivity, specificity, and overall efficiency of our system. And I would be more than happy to share these articles with respective colleagues. Last but not least is the fact that we are the combination of IT specialists and radiologists, because we have the scientific advisory board, which is led by the leading radiologist of Russia, the president of Russian Society of Radiologists, Valentin Evgenievich Sinitsyn. So everything which is related to adjustment of existing products or development of new ones is aligned with his opinion and the opinion of other representatives of scientific advisory board. So we are not just, the IT and AI toy in the hands of radiologists, but we are the supportive thing. So we are the platform created by radiologists for radiologists.
Yes, it's very important. Alexey, so overall, we are finishing with the discussion, but we have also a Q&A section. So our participants can ask their questions. You can do this by using Q&A section in Zoom toolbar. So do not hesitate if you have any questions. And while waiting for the questions from the participants, actually we have today a lot of startups among the participants, and we have also a lot of scientific representatives from scientific universities. So my question is, as you are, I would say, many steps ahead of startups using AI to implement within medicine and healthcare systems, what can be your advices for students, scientific students, and startups who are just starting their journey?
First of all, I would like to say that if my respected colleagues who are just starting the way, you definitely have chosen the right thing to deal with, because as we've found out during our webinar, usage of artificial intelligence technologies is just inevitable. There is no other way to help radiologists and a lot of other spheres of our lives, except for, I don't know, design, for example, but even there, artificial intelligence can help. My piece of advice would be to really spend as much time to offer the really quality product as needed. Of course, if we're talking about startups, each and every startup has investors, venture investors, investment angels, and so on. And of course, after getting the first investment, the first question that you get from your investor, when is the process of return of investment starts? Unfortunately, or fortunately, when it comes to our sphere, it's a matter of time. So according to my experience of working in Botkin.AI, you definitely have to tell yourself that sometimes, and in most of cases, you won't get the second chance. So if you fail to meet the expectations, if you fail to meet your own claims when it comes to your product, you won't get the second chance. You won't get the chance to fix everything. So be sure that you really add value. Be sure that you really help this or that specialist with the help of your product. This is, basically the overall advice. And of course, when it comes to startups, you have to be sure that your idea is either on time or a bit earlier than the moment when it's going to be on time. Because you have to understand once again that you would be required to show the return on investment. So be sure that somebody else except you needs the product that you are developing. So it's not only the idea that you like, but you have to find a potential customer which would like the idea, and what is even more important, we have the ability and is ready to pay for it.
Yeah, thank you, Alexey. We have another question. A colleague is asking, what is the state of medical data standardization in Russia and worldwide, and how it affects you?
Could you please repeat the beginning of the question?
Yeah, so what is the state of medical data standardization in Russia and worldwide, and how it affects you, if it affects you?
It definitely affects us. It affects us less than other spheres of medicine because we are working with the International Standard of Radiological Studies, which is called DICOM. It's an absolutely standard thing in Russia, in India, in US, wherever. So we don't face a lot of issues when it comes to standardization of the medical data we are currently dealing with. But if we're talking about the process and the approach of formalizing the protocol by radiologists, there is no universal protocol of analysis of radiological devices and radiological studies. So here is the thing where we face a lot of issues, because there are different schools of radiological departments. Once again, if you compare, for example, US school and Russian school, they are totally different. But once again, that is why we are currently aiming not to prepare the universal protocol, but to mark up the regions of interest for radiologists, and the protocol is currently being implemented by them. We can offer them the implementation of the protocol by our system, but once again, taking into account that we want to be universally used in US, Brazil, Russia, India, Egypt, and so on, we try to universify this thing. That's why we are currently approaching different types of customers and offer them different kinds of approaches and different kinds of integration systems.
Thank you. Thank you, Alexey. So as mentioned, we have a lot of representatives from scientific universities. And the question we have here is, so we have the same question actually. Do you have any positions for internships in summer or in other times? So do you work with students, graduates, postgraduates?
We sometimes do. I want to be absolutely transparent and sincere. If we're talking about summer 2021, we are living in such an interesting time that when it comes to internships, it's rather hard for us to plan for half a year in advance. So I would suggest checking our website, definitely, because we publish sometimes the open positions in our company. And also, when it comes to our further development, we'll definitely have other open positions because we want to enlarge the pipeline of our products, and we would be definitely interested in working together with young specialists. But once again, I cannot promise now that we would have such open positions in summer 2021. The overall message is the fact that if you take, for example, my experience, I've been working in international banks. I've been living in Germany for 5 years, and I found myself in the sphere of artificial intelligence to a certain extent, surprisingly, in 2018. And I'm really into the sphere, and I understand that this is, it's something that you've heard thousands of times, but this is really the thing which is the future. So it's really an interesting story. It's really the thing which will come into our lives inevitably. And if you are there and you started your journey, it's definitely the thing, the right choice for your side. But I would suggest, once again, I may be continuing telling the same things, but please concentrate on the quality, because a great issue currently in the sphere of artificial intelligence is the absence of confidence, is the absence of truth and trust provided by other companies. So only if we recreate the image of artificial intelligence as the helpful tool and not just the hype toy, and there is nothing in behind of this thing, only then would get loyal customers, will get increasingly growing market revenues, and really added value to the patients, doctors, or other spheres you are applying your artificial intelligence to.
Yeah, so it's not the area you can enter without nothing. You should have resources, human resources, quality and skills in order to start a startup in
You
artificial
formulated
intelligence.
much better than I did. So once again, if any questions to artificial intelligence, any is even more experienced expert in the sphere of AI than me. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Alexey. Thanks a lot. Thanks again for joining us today. It was our last Tech Talk this year. So probably we will continue next year with new subjects and new speakers. Thanks a lot for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. Should anyone have any questions, I'm more than open to answer them via LinkedIn, for example. Thank you so much, Annie, for inviting me. My pleasure, and
Thanks.
have a good evening.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.